Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the Marc Show. Is your kitchen disorganized and you're looking to bring a little bit of functionality into your life? Well, I'm here with Glen Peloso from Restaurant Makeover, and he's going to give us some quick tips on how to organize your kitchen. So Glen, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you, Marc?
Pretty good.
Good.
So we're here at the Headache booth at IDS.
Yes.
And he has some really cool organizational tips and hardware.
Yeah.
So how do you go about organizing it?
So one of the things that often happens is when you first start to get to put a kitchen together, people look at things like the exterior of the kitchen, the cabinets, the backsplash, the countertop, and all of that stuff is very important. But the reality is that the kitchen is designed to be able to cook a meal. So the first and foremost thing that you have to think about is function.
Yep.
And when you think about function, you have to think about what's behind the cupboards, what's inside the drawers.
So it's not just the aesthetics, it's actual opening it up and seeing what kind of hardware you have. And it's very important having, quality hardware so that when you actually put it in, that it'll actually work.
That's right. So when you think, for instance, that over the course of a kitchen, you're going to open and close the cupboards and the drawers maybe thousands and thousands of times. And if you use something like an inexpensive pull or an inexpensive hinge, what happens is they start to fail over time.
Yeah.
So something with Headache, they have wonderful drawer slides that mean that movement is always going to be very smooth, regardless of the amount of weight.
It's consistent.
That's correct.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll show you something later, which is something called the Architect system, and that drawer and those pulls will actually hold as much as 200 pounds, because kitchen cabinets and drawers are getting wider and wider, and everybody wants to have a pull-out, so you're going to put things in those drawers that are going to be, perhaps perhaps all of your dishes, pots and pans, those things start to get heavy. And
the dead body,
Well, you try to avoid the dead body as much as possible.
Yeah, unless you're Italian. Are you Italian, Glen?
I am. Dead bodies you try to bury in the basement. At least that's what I know from familiar experience.
Yeah. But that's for another show.
That's right. You want to try to make sure that slide is going to always work well. The other thing that's important is soft close, because when you think about the fact that every time you close that cabinet, it's going to make a bang, and if you actually test the volume of that bang over the course of your lifetime, it's a lot of noise that's going to happen in one or two ears as that bang, bang, bang happens all the time.
Yeah.
Having the soft close is a really nice feature, unless you're having a fight when it's hard to slam the cabinets.
You can't make that same dramatic closing, right?
You just have to scream bang.
Yeah.
But once you get inside the cabinet, something like, organizational systems, which are a wonderful thing to be able to help you take things like this one, for instance, allows you to have your plates in the middle, the smaller plates, cups, all around that, and all of these little mechanisms keep all of those things in place so that they're not
customizable depending on the size of the plates, because not everybody has the same size.
Absolutely. You can move these around in any one of this grid that you see. You can move it around to any one of those particular spaces. Something like this, you might want to have more canisters, and there you have more canisters, sort of looking things, your cutlery, the various cutlery systems in there to keep everything organized and consistent, which makes it easy for you to find, easy for you to put away, and means that the whole process of making a meal is much more pleasant than it might otherwise be.
Yeah.
The other great thing that they have is wonderful knobs and pulls, which are fantastic. So looking inside the cabinet is as important as looking outside the cabinets.
Well, that's perfect. Thanks, Glen.
A pleasure.
And that's our episode of the Marc Show. We'll see you next time for more design and decor tips.